welcome back everybody. This is my second video on my Recreator MK5 bottle recycling machine. So I got about 150 Pellegrino green water bottles. So we're going to find one of the bigger ones and we're going to send it through the machine and see how much filament we can get. So the first thing we're going to do is get a razor or scissors, and you're going to want to cut off all the labeling or stickers that are on the bottle. We need it as clean as possible, that way it doesn't contaminate the filament being pulled through the extruder. After doing this quite a few times, I realized that sometimes it's easier just to take it to your sink and run a lot of hot water over the bottle as you consistently scrape off any of the excess glue or the sticker with a razor or a sharp edge. And once that's done, we can go ahead and dry off our bottle and move on to the next step. Another way to do this that would be possibly quicker is to leave some of these bottles soaking, that way the paper just falls off. Alright, so now we're going to take our razor and we're going to cut the bottom end of this bottle off, and the same will be done with the front end near the cap. And this is kind of a strange bottle if you realize it has like a lining, and I haven't really found that in too many of the bottles I've recycled through this machine, so just ignore it, but I'm going to get it out of my way so we can move on. Now that that's done, I'm going to get my scissors and go ahead and cut this down to one long strand, and the strand should be no bigger than 10 millimeters to make sure it doesn't jam as it's being pulled through the hot end. So once you have your bottle fully cut down, you should have just this long strand and possibly the leftover trash from the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut down one of the ends of this strand. Now the reason for that being is it needs to be narrow enough to be fed through our heating block and our hot end. So we're going to go ahead and cut this until it's really narrow. Once it's cut, we're going to go over to the machine and we're going to feed this through. Once you see the end of the strand pop out the other side, use a clamp or a paper clip to hold on to it. That way it doesn't retract as the machine is preheating. Next, we're going to go ahead and preheat our machine. So we're going to go to prepare, we're going to go to preheat ABS, and we're going to preheat ABS in, which should heat our hot end to about 240 degrees. Next, I'm going to grab needle nose pliers and pull some of the strand further through the hot end. It needs to be positioned under our tensioner, and it needs to be put into our spindle, that way it can be firmly pulled through this extruder. Make sure that your filament is lined up with the tensioner pulley directly down the middle, that way it doesn't wobble as the filament is recreated and pulled by the spindle. Once you have that centered, go ahead and feed the filament through the holes on the spindle and twist back to make sure it is tightly in place and cannot pull out as the spindle extrudes the filament. Once that's tightened in place, we're ready to start. So let's go to print from TF or SD card, and we're going to find our 900mm speed, and we're going to go ahead and get started. This bottle took about 25 minutes to fully be pulled through the hot end. Now, this isn't the most agile or quiet machine, but it does get the job done. And once it reaches its 900mm mark, the machine will automatically stop itself. And then we can cut the filament right where it passed through the hot end, and we can untangle it and pull it off of this machine. So after that process, this is what we're left with, 900mm of green PET Pellegrino plastic bottle filament. So we're going to print something and let's see how it goes. This is a gear that I've already designed. Now, unlike PET G, we're going to have to turn the temperature up on the hot end to 255 degrees and the bed can stay at 80 degrees. And next, we're going to load up our 3D printer. This is a Sprite extruder on an old Ender 3, and we're going to just make sure that's firmly pressed in there, and we're going to go ahead and start our print. So in upcoming videos, I'll show you how I connect more of this filament to print much bigger 3D prints out of recycled filament. But as of now, this print took about an hour to print, and I was happy with the way the first layer went down, which usually gives me a pretty good sign of how the rest of the print's going to go down. There was no clogging or any jam issues, thankfully to us being accurate with the cutting of the bottle and how much we were able to clean and dry the bottle in that process. Alright, now that our piece is finished, I'm going to pop it off here and take a look. And I mean, I'm pretty impressed with the way it came out. It printed just like it was PLA, PETG, or ABS, and it came out really clean. So that's going to wrap this video up. In the next video, I'll go over the cutter and why I didn't use it and how it works with the Recreator. And maybe we'll print something bigger with all the filament that I've already recreated. With that being said, please like, share, and subscribe.